Hi there, Samina. Thank you for sending these problems to me. Each of these problems have something called percent. Let me just help you see. That says percent. This says the percent, what percent. Stock price reaches, what percent. So do you see? So first off, I want to go over that vocabulary word. What is the concept of percent? We use the idea of percent to describe the amount of something. Just in general, the amount of something. Mathematically, you take it over a base of 100. So if I say 50 out of 100 students are female, 50 out of 100. Let me write it in words. If we say something like this, 50, F-I-F-T-Y, out of 100. Students are female, let's say in a certain class, 50 out of 100 students are female. It would look like this in decimal form, 0.50 in decimal form. Okay, if we have 2 zeros in the denominator, we're behind 2 zeros with the decimal. Or we would say 50% of the students are female. So when you see a percent, it's out of 100. So another example. So 2.5% is the same as 2.5 over 100. If you were to do that as a decimal, 2.5, but because there's 2 zeros here, if you were to divide by 100, you would move that decimal over twice. 1, 2. Therefore, 2.5% becomes 0.025. So all of that is interchangeable. So percent means out of 100. I'm going to do the problems kind of backwards because that's just the way they copied. It says, at a hospital in San Jose, 621 babies are born in a month. 2.5% of them are premature babies. How many babies are born premature? Round up to the nearest integer. Integer means the nearest whole number. For example, if you get a number like 2.6, the nearest integer is going to be 3. The reason why we're rounding to the nearest integer is because we're talking about babies, human beings, and we don't talk about portions of babies. So if I have 621 babies born total, and 2.5% are premature, 2.5% is 2.5 over 100. Once again, because I have 2 zeros there, to make a decimal, you move that 2 decimal places to the left. So I have 0.025. Now, really important, the word of, 2.5% of, that is always multiplication. So if I want 2.5% of 621, what that looks like is like this in your calculator. 0.025 times 621. So we're going to go 0.025 times 621. Now, notice it said nearest whole integer. Technically, that reads 15.5 babies. But once again, we don't talk about half of babies. So we're going to say approximately 16 babies are born premature. Approximately. This double squiggle means approximately. We use the term approximately because we were told to round. Number 8. Okay, if Roar Jaguar stock prices drop from 400 to 200, what percent has it dropped from 400 to 200? Okay, so it's asking what percent did it drop? Okay, so from 400 was the original. You went down to 200. So you dropped, the difference is $200. So what it's basically asking is $200 is what percent of $400. That would be in the question form. $200 is what percent of $400. We're going to translate this directly into an equation. Ready? 200 is an equal sign. What percent? We don't know, so we're just going to call that X of 400. That's multiplication. So to solve for unknown, we're going to divide by 400. When I'm dividing here, I can divide out those two zeros, and 2 goes into 4 twice, so my fraction is this, 1/2 equals X. Now we just need to translate that back to percent. 1/2 is half of a dollar, if you will. That's an easy way to think of percent. Half of a dollar is 50 cents, and 50 cents equals 50%. Therefore, it dropped, the stock dropped by 50%. To get back to 400 from 200, what percent must the stock rise? Okay, this is a little bit trickier. It says to get back to 400 from 200. So it's asking like this. $200 plus what percent is 400? $200 plus what percent is 400? Okay, so what we do here is we're going to minus 200 because the opposite of addition is subtraction. X equals $200 hang on. I set this up a little bit incorrectly. Hang tight. Okay, I worded that wrong. Let me reword it. What we're saying is 200 plus what percent of 200 is $400. That's the way it's phrased. $200, that was our original, plus what percent of 200 equals $400. Translating this to an equation, 200 plus of, that's multiplication, 200x equals $400. Step 1, we're going to minus 200. We have 200x equals 200. Now I divide by 200. So x equals, technically that's 1. When we say a whole number 1, it technically means 100%. So the stock is going to have to raise a 100% to get back to $400. Okay, here's another stock price problem. Imagine the stock price of a company called War Jaguar. Initially, $40 stock rises to $80. So once again, it was at 40 and it rises up to $80. So it is asking, what is the percent gain? So $80 is $40 plus what percent gained? And since right here it basically doubled, okay, it says what is the percent gain? It's going to be 100%. So for A, okay, so the difference, again, the difference here is $40. So question A is, what is the percent gain? So another way to look at this is $40 is what percent of $40? That would be the question form. Here's the equation form. 40 is an unknown percent times 40. So the opposite of multiplying is dividing. This turns out to be 1 equals X percent. Now because that's a whole number, technically that 1 is 100%. That's called a doubler. So if it gains, if it doubles, it's gaining 100% because 100% of $40, 100% of $40 is $40. So if the stock triples, technically what you gain is 200%. And the stock quadruples, what you gain is 300%. Number 5, the sales tax in San Jose is 9.75%. You want to buy a camera with this list price of $80. What will you pay for a camera? So the total cost, when we talk about something that has total cost, where there's tax, what it includes is the original price plus the tax. And those two together get you the total cost. So here, our original price, also called the list price, is $80. Now to do tax, it's 9.75% of 80. 9.75% of $80. I'm going to change this to a decimal. We go over twice. 0.0975 times 80. So 0 times 80. So our tax is going to be $7.80. So the total cost is going to be $87.80. Once again, decimal 9.75 of $80. So just to reinforce some decimals here, 9.75% becomes 0.0975. 2% will become 0.02. 23% becomes 0.23. 150% decimal wise is going to become 1.50. Notice each and every time changing a percent to a decimal, you move the decimal over twice. 1, 2, put a 0. Here would be the decimal. 1, 2, put a 0. Decimal would be there. 1, 2, put a 0. Here, decimal moves twice. Again, 1.5. Hope this was helpful.